resource, you know. So in here, for example, there's some branches from Gliricidia, from tapioca, from papaya, and various things, and you can see the quality of this soil that's emerging here. That's a very healthy soil. There are millions and millions of microorganisms. There are molds, bacteria, insects, earthworms, fungi, and small animals, snakes and little rats and stuff. So all of the life in the soil, that is directly proportionate to the fertility of the soil. So you can say life equals fertility. I would say that that's this type of farming Fukuoka talks about is do-nothing farming or natural farming. So I would say that's the equation of the natural farmer. Life equals fertility. So the more you can nurture life, the more the diversity of nutrients in the soil, the better the taste of the plants, the better the health of the plants. Everything is better, and that is the first dimension, if you like, because finally that will translate into the plants, that will translate to our plate, that will translate to us. So the nutrition in the soil is directly related to the well-being of any society, and the culture that emerges from that, the language, the Bharatanatyam, the poems, the this, the that, you know, the art, all of that emerges from a healthy soil. So put this phone on silent, otherwise we won't have a good time. Yeah, so I think that we don't, you know, as how we've been educated from very young age, our aims in life have become sort of very, very, very small, you know. Mostly we're trained and grown up to get good job, to get good income, to get more income than the next person, to have the house and the car and the DVD player and all these types of things, no? So therefore culture is always, you know, it's not such a big matter anymore, you know. Richer people, then they send their kids to dance and music and this. Otherwise it's not really present anymore in our society so much, I would say. And I would say that's synonymous with us losing a relationship with where our food comes from. In fact, there are studies going on that are showing very, very clearly that the demise of certain indigenous languages is parallel to ecosystems being lost and relationship with where their traditional foods are being lost. So the two things are together. Because the soil is like that, that's why everything's happening. If you understood that and you wanted to start some type of permaculture now, that would be enough to start. The rest is knowledge. The rest is information that you can gain here and there. It's not that's not the defining point. The defining point is this: to return organic matter, and it could be done in many ways. We have a trench and a bed, and a trench and a bed, and a trench and a bed throughout these fields. Most of the fields we have like that. And that's the key, to return the organic matter. When the trench is really deep, you can even put thorns in the bottom, like we have here what we call the panamatte, the edge, the stem of the palm leaves. It's very sharp. So when there's a deep trench and we don't have more organic matter, we put that in and it's wonderful. It's all decomposing. Everything is of value. That's the first step. That should be really, really welcomed in the heart, you know, to understand. The second step is to start to understand some basic ideas in permaculture. We won't go into permaculture too much in the details like it's written in the book. It's such a massive subject, including, you know, alternative building materials and alternative energy and social permaculture, which we are talking about a lot. But if we just look at how do you mix the crops together in the field, which is just one part of permaculture, although it's a very significant part of permaculture, basically there are two perimeters that we use. And the first one is to understand that all the plants have a different physiology. So there's some plants that have deep roots, like the tapioca or the pigeon pea, 3-meter roots, you know, or the trees, the fruit trees. Other things have very shallow roots. Papaya, pretty shallow root, and there's a rain, tamao, it comes down, you know, heavy wind, it comes down. some of these spinaches and all, very shallow roots. So you have a lot of different physiology below the ground, then you have a lot of different physiology above the ground, and the size, and whether it's a creeper or whether it's a bush, etc. So by understanding the physiological difference between the plants, you can mix a lot of crops together. A very basic example would be, for example, sweet potato makes a carpet, and within the sweet potato you could plant corn. So the corn takes the vertical strata, and the sweet potato is taking the horizontal sort of strata, and it's going under the ground with the roots. The second really important perimeter, and there's a lot of variations in that, I'm just giving a basic thing. Once you start playing with it, you go, wow, so much difference is there in nature. There's no need to make notes of these things, because everywhere will be different, so many different things. So the next perimeter is the time duration. So the fruit trees, like there's here is ramphal and sapota and soursop and kumquat and guavas and jackfruits and breadfruit and mango, and you know, there's about 22 different types of fruit tree in this area here. They are the long duration crop. They're like the infrastructure of the field. They're there for the long haul. So if you were starting a field from the beginning, the first thing after a fence and maybe a couple of other points, the first thing to plant would be, you know, the fruit trees, because they're going to be like growing long time. Then in between that, you start to try and integrate medium duration crops. So things like bananas, papayas, yams, tapioca, sugarcane, different things like this, or drumstick spinach and agatikira. These things will be there for about a year, at least a year they are there in the field. So there you like your intermediary infrastructure. These are just words, you know, it just sounds like something, you know, but they're the next thing that you would add into this stack. We call it stacks in permaculture. The next thing that you would utilize is all the short medium duration stuff. So things like the sweet potato and pumpkin, and then there's tomatoes and brinjals, and then slowly gets a little shorter with lady's finger and French beans and long beans and all these type of things. And then you have another guild of plants, which is your very short duration plants, and those are spinaches, spring onions, even radish. Just within 8 weeks, tuck, it's all ready. You can start pulling it out. So it's plants that don't go for reproductive cycle, basically. That usually you're going for their leaves. Now, many of those plants, as I say, there is over 100 things growing in these fields. Many of them you will find in shops. I can guarantee you the taste that you find of a papaya in this field and in the shop is more than light years away. It's like another, I don't know, it's not the same thing because of the soil. You know, that's just very, very clear. And all the crops that we are producing here, they all have a different quality in that sense, because the soil is very healthy. But however, you will find those crops, you know, by those names in shops, but there are many, many plants you won't find in the shops. And I see that those plants, they are the beacon that we should follow to understand our relationship back to nature. Now I'll start to explain you those things, and at the end of it, you will understand why I'm giving so much value to those plants. The first one is here. This is called chicken spinach, as a translation from the Tamil. The Tamil is korikere. It's here, you can see, just here. So the Tamil is korikere. This in English we call actually leaf ginseng. So if you are familiar with what is ginseng, it's a famous root, I think, in the Chinese medicine. I think it's something so expensive. It's something very, very special. Something about immortality and all those types of things, no? It's like very healing thing. So leaf ginseng implies that it has some of the qualities of ginseng. The research on this is fairly recent, but if you go on the internet and read about it, it's like wow, 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 wow. Like now you have that muringakere, no? The drumstick spinach. Oh, I mean, the Tamils, they knew it since 1,000 years, but with all the education and highbrow stuff, they lost sight of the most basic things, of why it was good. And now everyone in Tamil Nadu start to recognize the value of their traditional things. So this is superfood. If you start to dry that and make powder with it, you can put in a little packet. You can make a lot of money if money is your aim. No, I'm just saying, because everyone's running after money. Even in Auroville, everyone's running after money. I mean, it's a symptom of the whole world, you know. But this is free and easy. Less than 1% of Auroville use this. You can make green smoothie with it. You can make sugar-free vegan ice cream with it. Every single day it's in the salad. We make, today it's in the vegetable dish. You can cut it up, add it to an omelette if you're into that sort of thing. You can make a bonda with it, with a maraveli kering or potato. You can do so much with this.
Is it able to grow in Europe?
Yeah, that's another discsion. Let me tell you about here. In Europe, our Mother Earth, she is very amazing.
Yeah.
She is so much love for us as people. You give her half a chance, she'll start coming back and caring again. In Europe, you'll find other things.
Yeah.
So many other things that are just waiting to be loved again, you know. So this plant, you know, as I was saying, if the litmus of success is financial, which everyone seems to think it is, then you can say that this cafe has proved its economic worth as well. Personally, that for me, that's only one value. There's a huge cultural relevance of this. There's a social relevance. There's a huge ecological value in this. And the nutritional value, medicinal value is obvious. This is how you plant it, look. You make a little hole in the ground and you put it in, it grows. So it's like it's a no-brainer. Why is it that only 1% of us in Auroville are eating? That's a random figure, but maybe I'm too generous. Maybe it's a 0.5%. You know, I really don't know, but mostly people don't eat it. That's because we lost our relationship with nature.
It grows wild?
It's growing everywhere. It's right there by your feet. It's everywhere. It's going everywhere, you know. Yeah. Yes. It grows wild, the more, yes. So it's growing in every garden in Auroville, Omri. Every single garden you can find this. Now imagine that, if you excuse my French, the shit has hit the fan, as they say in English, and really there's a food crisis. The food crisis is here now, but people have their head in the mud and they don't want to see. In America, there's this much credit. The banks are running with this much credit. There's this much actual money. If say 20, 30, 50 billionaires take their money, there's no money left. So the farmer is running with credit. The guy who has a lorry to take the farmer's produce to the co-op is on credit. The co-op to the shop is on credit. The shop is on credit. The guy who has a car, everyone has car on credit. They can't even drive to the store to buy the things. America can collapse in 3 hours. And I think America is just like pretty much the whole world is like that. So, you know, this, the shit has hit the fan, let's say, okay? And it's already hit, you know, big time. But it's our responsibility, let's just imagine for the next half an hour, 45 minutes for this tour, that we have to find the solution for Auroville. And I'm not talking about Rajasthan or France or England, I'm talking about Auroville. We have to make the solution of Auroville with local food. This would be on a menu. Let's say it's a 40, what is it, 7 days in a week, so 42 meals for 2 weeks. Let's not make a 1 week menu, people will get bored. It's a 2 week menu. So this will be in the menu, at least in the breakfast, maybe a few times a week as a smoothie, at least 2 times a week as a spinach dish, as a soup or a sabji or something. At least it might be there even every day if you're fond of salad. So it's very present in a menu. When we start to pull out all our economic aims and start to focus on a nutritional aim that has a love for our Mother Earth and our collective well-being at its heart, this is on your menu in a very significant way, okay? Now the next thing that would be on our menu is this. This is the papaya. So everyone knows ripe papayas. I think very few people know what a good ripe papaya tastes like, but you can try today in the cafe if you like. What's significant about this tree is the green papaya. So green papaya is well known in Asia. I think in Kerala it's still eaten, in Orissa, in Bengal. Bengalis are very good with all this stuff. but in Tamil Nadu it's not really present. So when you grate the green papaya, you peel it like a potato and grate it. You cook it with some chili and peanut. It's a very Indian taste, very super taste. Everyone thinks it's cabbage. They're convinced it's cabbage. They even won't believe that it's not cabbage. Then if you cook it with a bit of soy sauce, it's slightly Asiatic. You can cook it with lemongrass and coconut milk. It's like a cordon bleu soup. You can make a kimchi from it. You can make Thai salads from it. You can just put it in vinegar and it's super taste. This is a treasure trove of nutrition. They even say that green papaya is a cancer cure now. It's a cure for all gastrointestinal problems. It has so much nutritional, medicinal value. People tend to think of things like, oh, that's a social benefit, and this is a cultural benefit. This is a medicinal benefit. This is a, nutritional benefit. They're all the flip side. It's like a diamond, because it has nutritional benefit, that's why it has a medicinal benefit. Because it has a social benefit, that's why it has a cultural benefit. It's a treasure trove of well-being, you can say. When we eat that food, it's the next act of bhakti. It's the next act of devotion to Mother Earth. It's just saying thank you. Imagine this mother person, comes like some Devi, and she offers a green papaya and you eat it. That's like a prasad. If you really feel this is your mother, that this is a Devi, this is a Bhumi Dev, or Gaia, or Pachimama, whatever word that you want to use, name, then eating that food is taking a prasad from her. And eating a food that's grown with the chemicals is not taking prasad from her. That's kicking her in the teeth in many ways, So that's the next thing on our menu. At least a few times in a week. I mean, we have it every day. Every single day it's present in our menu somehow. So at least a few times in a week in our 42 meal menu, it's present. With just 2 things. Wow, we already did a lot of stuff. We will walk around, but I just want to show just around us what's there for us. Is just how so simple the things are. This is sweet potato here. The sweet potato also grows really easy. It can just be, actually it won't grow like that, but it can, when you have these nodules here and you put it in the soil like that, it'll grow. So these leaves we cook in a stir fry. In Vietnam, in Laos, they're quite common to use. You can have it in a salad, you can put it in stir fry. It's very high in protein. I'm sure if you went into research on internet, it'll give you a lot of other information. It's good for this and good for that, and etc., etc. The point is, anyone could have that in the back garden. Anybody. Imagine you live in a small community. There's a bunch of this. There's plenty there. The next thing to show you is the aparajit flower, or in Tamil we call Shankha Pushpa. So the Shankha Pushpa is well known in Ayurveda. It's good for women. It's good for uterus, but it's also good for the memory. So it's slightly sweet. Do someone want to try? Slightly sweet. You don't trust me or what? You boil the flour in water. The water turns blue. You add some lemon and the water will turn violet. And then you can add a little sugar and it makes a wonderful juice. Our aims, I think you can hear, my aim is not a financial aim. It's one thing we need within the paradigm that we're living to make the whole thing turn. But this has a huge economic value. It's massive. If you go around the farm every day and you get enough to make some 5-6 jars, you're harvesting over 1,000 rupee every day from weeds, But we don't see that. My daughter, she's in a school in Auroville called the Learning Community. It's a very beautiful school. It's a mixed age group, a lot of projects. The kids, they get bored, they're allowed to go and work in the garden, come back when they want, or if they don't want to do the thing, they can go in the forest for a walk and come back. It's a very free school. So I'm encouraging them to They have a cafe in the school as well, just outside the school. So once a week the kids run the cafe, they make the cakes and they sell the things. So I've planted this on the fence in some places, and I'm encouraging them to harvest it and make the juice themselves. Maybe make a little label. They're going to sell it. Maybe they have to weigh things to make the recipe. It's such a beautiful learning experience. It comes because they got a relationship with the earth. It's not from a book, this learning. It's something very real, artistically, mathematics, a little bit of science, a little bit of cooking, this, that. And their own creativity, the joy, that joy of feeling like, wow, I did this thing. This is massive. It comes from relation with the soil. What else to show you? Next thing in our menu, the banana flower. I don't know if there's any banana flowers. Can someone see? Yeah, so the banana flower is there. The first thing we harvest from the banana, it's actually a grass banana, it's not a tree, is the flower. You take the flower off, and there's a certain preparation which is needed. You can make vades with it, you can make a curry with it, you can make a vegetable dish with it. I think again in Vietnam and some these Asian countries, you can make even a salad with it. I don't know how to do that yet. If anyone knows, please come and show me. That's the first value from this plant. The second value is the bananas themselves, which again is a huge subject. You know, people think banana, finish, you know, but if it's plantain, for example, plantain, which we have a lot of it growing in the farm, you can make flour from it. You make chips and you dry it, you mill it, and then you can add it with ragi. So my daughter was anemic for some time, and I rushed to the chemist to get this iron tonic medicine and all of that. And then I started to really research these things that I'm sharing with you now. The plantain is full of absorbic acid and iron. So absorbic acid is vitamin C, and it's the vitamin C that helps the body absorb the iron. So it has it together naturally. So I was like, wow, that's amazing, you know. I was taking the plantain to the Food Link for sale, and they'll say, yeah, but people don't really want this. We'll take a couple of kilo. I'm left with 20 kilo. So we make the chips, we dry it, we mix it with ragi and make a dosa. It's so delicious, it's so soft and tasty. The kids love it. You just brought a very nice nutrition to your kids by valuing what's local, and it's so simple as well. The next thing after the plantain or the banana is the banana stem. You can make a juice with it, cut it up, you put it in the mixie. First thing in the morning, it's top in Ayurveda for kidney cleaning, you know, taking out the stones and cleansing the intestines and all of that. You can also make a curry with it. You can also make a sabji with it, a vegetable dish. You can also use it in a salad. So diverse what we can do with banana stem. Mostly no one is valuing it. In Auroville, I don't think you find it anywhere to eat. You know, even in Pondi, very rare you'll find that, except in the market. Some little old ladies will be selling it, you know. It has a very low economic value, but its cultural value is massive. Its nutritional and medicinal value is super. You know, people run to Ayurvedic center, they pay $1,000 to stay, you know, 10 days, 2 weeks in an Ayurvedic center, or they buy these little bottles of Ayurveda, 130 rupees, which is actually contaminated, many of them with chemicals. But our Ayurveda is here with the banana stem, it's with the banana flower, it's with the Shankha Pushpa, it's with all these beautiful things around us. That's the fabric of Ayurveda, starts here with this relationship. It's not concept, it's something real for each one of us, our birthright to have that relationship. Maybe we're going to walk that way now, and I'll show you some more things.